you are able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So today's webinar is on VBA macros. People who are working with the advanced Excel, probably you might be aware about the VBA macros. So if you want to gain more knowledge on it, like this webinar is the right one. So before I start this session, let me quickly ask you. Right. So let me introduce myself. Myself, Karthik Dale, and I'm an Excel trainer, VBA trainer, and also a teacher of Power BI as well. So I have 11 plus years of experience in the corporates, 7 plus years experience in the trainings. I train more than 6,000 working employees, like different companies, whether it's Invesco, Tata Advanced Systems, Tata Projects, Heritage. There are many companies. So I enjoy teaching. So that's the reason I left my job and I'm completely into trainings. So that is a little about me. So some rules related to this session, like please keep your mobile silent. I'll also keep my mobile in silent mode. Make sure that you don't do multitasking while you are in the training. So these are some quick expectations from you, like no phone, no social media. So this 3 hours due to me, definitely I can assure you that you will gain good knowledge and be here. And many of you are on time. Really appreciate, and people who join at 9 o'clock and waiting for the other people to join. Thanks for them. Um, be enthusiastic. When you're enthusiastic, you can learn quickly. Whether it is a Excel or Python, or it can be any language, anything, you can learn easily. So that enthusiasm should be there, not because hey, someone forced you to learn. If that's the case, like you cannot learn easily. And also, I'll be asking a couple of questions in this training. So try to answer it if you are aware. You can unmute and speak. Otherwise, you can type it in the chat box also. So both the ways works with me. And do the practice. Without practice, if you just listen, it is not going to work, especially with the VBA. So before I get into VBA macros, I would like to hear what do you know about the VBA macros? Whatever the knowledge you have as an end user, or like you heard about it, or like already you are working with it. So whatever you are aware about it, please share that information with us. And once again, I'm just checking, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Clear, right? Okay, great.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you mean by VBA? VBA macros?
Basically, it is a Excel automation. Basically, when the work that we do in Excel, when it is automatized, and that we don't have to keep on doing the same format over and over again, and probably maybe a one click and then you get the entire thing, the data automatically. So I think that is what VBA macros means.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Some repetition of the work, we can automate it, right? That's what you're
Yeah.
trying to say. Correct, Amrita? Yeah. Okay. Any other inputs?
We can create customized formulas which are not available in Excel.
Okay. Okay. Which are not available in Excel?
Yes,
to save the time.
Okay. Oh, you are telling the advantage of the VBAMacros. Okay, fine, Jagdish. You can avoid, okay.
We can create user forms with VBA.
Okay, fine. Okay, we can create user form. Yes, what is it? We can avoid manual work so that it can be automated. Okay, fine. What else? Fine. All your answers are valid, right? So people who are very new to this VBA one, I can show you like what is the VBA can do. Let me quickly show you this demo. What VBA can do so that you can understand this. Okay. Let's see some example here. Let's assume that the work which I'm going to explain, that is a daily work, daily task. Okay, what is the daily task I need to do is every day I'll get some file from the some branches, and that file is containing like here you see sales data of the some salesperson. His name is David. All the sales done by him, it is updated here. That city, date, product name, which product he has sold, and all these details it will be maintained here. And like there is another salesperson here. All the records, headers are same. Headers are same like before. And then next is Rachel, city, sales, and so on like this. And here there is another sheet like multiple sheets we have. Headers are same, but number of records are vary. All this data, what I need to do is I need to consolidate. I need to paste it in the one sheet. In general, how do you do that? Like I'll go to this second sheet. This first sheet is the place where I need to consolidate. I just have the headers. I need to have the data of the David, Dale Carnegie, Rachel, and all these people. So the way we do is we'll go to this second sheet. Already headers are there, so I don't select the header. I'll go to this A2 cell. If you are good with the shortcut keys, you use shift control right navigation key, shift control down arrow. If a person is not aware about the shortcut keys, what they do, they'll select like this. It will take more time. Agree. So after selection of this data, copy it, come back to the starting sheet. I call it as a source sheet. We click on this A2 cell. Why A2? Because A1 is having the header. Just below to it, we'll paste it. Control V, paste. Yeah, it is pasted. Then control down arrow. Why control down arrow? The next record should be up to 1504. We have the records data. Next data needs to be pasted here. So I'll keep my cursor here to make it ready. So I'll go to next sheet. Again, I'll select that A2 cell. Shift the control right navigation key. Shift control down arrow. Take a copy. Come back here. Paste it. And go to the next sheet and repeat the same task. After doing this, you got, I mean, everyday task for years you're doing this. So it is taking time. Whether it is 15 minutes or 1 hour, it is taking time. So you want to save this time. Sometimes you're doing a mistakes. Like while you're doing this, you're getting a call, you got distracted, and instead of copying all the sheets, some of the sheets you are missing, or some of the sheets you are making duplicate. Like one Eric data you already copied. After your call, you thought that you are not copied, you copied again. So it is a duplicate. Like what I mean, this consolidated data, if you insert some pivot table and Eric related one, instead of showing the total sales as a 5 lakhs, it will show the 10 lakhs because you copied twice. If one of these sales rep related data is, if you are not copied, then what will happen? It will show 0. It won't show that record at all. So when you're doing manual work, this kind of errors can occur, mistakes can occur, right? So you cannot give 100% accuracy every time. So you may get frustrated with the doing same work every day, copy paste job. No, I want to automate this. Then that's where VBA coming into picture. This VBA is a great for the automation of all MS Office related things. Like anything which you're doing manual work, that can be automated. Just following some steps, that steps can be automated. So let's see this. So there is no data. I have not copy pasted in the first sheet. I removed only headers we have. So some macro code I have already written to show you the demo, how that macro works. So once I click on it, instead of we do that copy paste, it will do it and give the output. So let me click on this button. Once I click on it, something is happening. What is that? Something is nothing but like copy pasting only. It's copy pasting, and you see this consolidation of sheets task completed. It is giving the information done, right? Once I click OK, done. Like it is not only copying the debit data, you'll be finding the Dale Carnegie, Rachel, Sammy, and everyone. Like you see this, if I apply the filter here, you can see everyone, all these people. Like all the records are something like 5,847. All right. The last name is Rajesh Kumar P, right? So these are the records. There are 3 records related to Rajesh Kumar P. If I go here, you see that Rajesh Kumar P. Got it? Let's say you may ask, hey, what if I add the new sheet? For example, I'll add a new sheet. One minute. So if I go to this the starting sheet, is it going to show me this Ellison related records also? Yes or no? Online guys, you can
No.
type your answer in the chat box.
No, it won't, because
No,
this
sir.
record was added just now.
Okay. Yeah, it is now. Absolutely. So if I come back here, and if I see it is not showing the Ellison related records, but what I need to do to get the newly added records, once again, as the new data is added, new sheet is added, you run this macro once again so that it will get updated, and you see here, you also see that Ellison added, right? So this simple it will be. I mean, this is the end user. End user, like someone who written the code, most of you might be working like this kind of reports, right? So some macro code will be there, just you need to run it and it is giving the output. But with this training, like once you learn the VBA, you'll be able to create your own. So I'm just trying to show you what can be achieved with the VBA macros. I'll give some more examples, a broad picture of what you can do with it.
Unmute.
Praveen, you can turn off your video.
तो आकर गंजा अभी तक गंजे रहे अभी लगा
1 minute, yes. I'm just checking that. This time, reverse of the quite opposite to previous requirement. Previously, we were consolidating all the data from the different sheets to one sheet. Correct? This time, what I want, reverse of it. Nothing but like one sheet, I have the data. You see this? I have all the data in the one sheet here. This data needs to be split into, like you see this, there is David, there is Stefan, there is Eric, and so on. All the David data should be in the David sheet. All the like Stefan data should be in another sheet, and so on. Nothing but sales rep by sheets needs to be created. So, for example, let's assume like there are no sheets like this. Only that one sheet only we have. This needs to be created different sheets based on the sales rep name. In general, how do you do this? You'll apply the filter here. You will select one of the sales rep name. You'll take a copy of whole data, insert the new sheet, paste it over there, and rename the sheet name with the what is the name of the sales rep. So this is a manual work because like after doing one sales rep, you need to do for the other one, right? Unselect this and select this one, and do the copy paste. Same work, repetition. So no, I don't want to do this way. Instead, some macro code is already written. Let me run that. Split data in by sales rep. Once I click on it, some macro is again running, and it is going to give the output to us. So some flickering is happening, right? Nothing but that macro is running. Yeah. It is given all this sheets. All the sheets. Right? Only Naresh means only Naresh created records only, and so on. So if I need to do it manually, let's say there are 100 sales reps, each one of them, if it is taking 1 minute also, like it will take the 100 minutes. The 100 minutes got saved, right? And there are not only you, like there are 10 people are working. So 100 minutes into 10 members, time got saved, right? Yeah. I'll give one more example, the one which I recently done. So, let me show you. One of our trainer birthday was last month. Today May 1st, right? So last month, April. So we thought of wish him in the Excel way. He's Excel trainer. So we thought of wish him in the Excel way. So what we have done is some macro we have written, and it is wishing him in multiple languages: English, Telugu, Hindi, and so on. Not only this, you can wish him like 100 languages, more than that, like all that with the Excel. Like you see this, there is a text translator we written. This, if you try in your Excel text underscore translator, that function won't work because that function is a UDF function. UDF means user defined function. I'll repeat again, UDF, user defined function. So there are 480 plus formulas in Excel. Most of our requirements will be fulfilled, the calculation requirements fulfilled with that existing formulas. But there are scenarios, those like you have the different requirement that is not inbuilt, not available. In such case, we will be creating with the help of the VBA. So with the help of the VBA, I have created the text underscore translator, like it will translate whatever the text you write it from one language to another language. Here you see some formula called EN. EN means from English to change it to L4. L4 nothing but E. Here is English to English only. Like whereas here is a English to L5. L5 nothing but Telugu, and so on. Like different languages, we are able to change it. Not only this happy birthday, you write it anything, it will translate. Normally, actually, this is one of the requirement of the company. They'll get a documents in the Chinese language, Japanese language, and German language. Different languages they'll get it. They need to translate. There is one big company. I don't want to reveal that company name. So there are many associates who works on it. Like they'll get the data and they translate. They go to google.translator.com or like Bing also we are the translator, right? So they'll go to that place. They'll give this text and they translate it to English and they'll copy the data from the translator and paste it in Excel. So cell by cell they are doing. There are thousands of records. So for doing one document, they are taking 1 day or 2 days time. Copy paste job, right? Like so there are chances of doing mistakes. It takes time. So many issues. So to automate that, one of the guys like came to us, that working employee of that company, and said, "Can you automate this?" We have written that code and give it to him. So that's how his work and his teamwork got reduced. Getting it? There are many other things. One last demo I'll give. Let me show you some data here. This is one of the data of the a company. It is located in Hyderabad itself. They'll get the data like this from the SAP. They use the ERP tool from SAP. ERP tool they'll use. So they are located in the different locations. Once they download the data from the SAP, that Excel data, the data will be shown like this. So you see this. There is a in the I just instead of giving that original name, I called as a Ratnadeep supermarket, but it is not a Ratnadeep. This is some other company. We given the consulting work to them. So instead of giving that original name, we change it to just Ratnadeep. So this is a location name. I mean the company name, and this is a location name. Both are here, and all these records. What are the records here belongs to this location itself. Nothing but here you see the blank, right? Nothing but they all are belongs to same this location itself. So if I go control down arrow, like you see this Ratnadeep Tea Bazaar and multiple locations they have, Paradise and so on like this. There are multiple locations. So what is this data is? It's all about some garments related data. So where they have the quantity here. So let's assume that is a T-shirt in a black color. That T-shirt like this size is a 54 quantity they have, and in this store, in this VBAMacros store, and another size it is a 41 quantity, 30 quantity, and so on like this they have. And if I go here, there is a total also it is giving this total. Like if I go here, this is the total. Here you can see the total. So, but they don't want to get see the data like this. They want to see the data in different way. This is the raw data they will receive. They want in the different format. So, what is the format they want is they wanted something like this. The Ratnadi, Bing Bazaar, then brand, description, the color, and the sizes were showing in the different columns, right? It should be in the vertical, one column only, columnar database, and the quantity of it like this. So you see this here. After running the macro, it has become like 18,000 to 61 records. So let me remove this I cleared all the data, right? There is no data here. And I'm going to run the macro. You see this carefully. That file name is the raw data, correct? That is the raw data one, source data or SAP data, whatever you call it. And like here, this is our template, I call it. Why I'm calling template? Because every day new data will come. Some modification needs to be done. That modification will be done in this template. So you see this in this template. There is a update order format. Some macro button is here, just like the previous one. Like currently, if you see, there is nothing here. Just headers are there. There is nothing here. Correct. So once I run it, once I click on it, it will ask you, could you please select the order data file? Nothing but in our language, select the raw data file. Correct. So I'll give the path. I'll tell that this is my raw data. Click here. Once I click on this, instead of I work on that, trust me, they'll take 2 days to work on that report. That report, how much time it takes to prepare, I will see this now. Online guys, hope you are able to follow. Are we on the same page? Are you getting what I'm trying to explain? You can type it in the chat box. I have not given the option to unmute because some people are misusing. Okay, great. Pranay is asking, like, sir, can we split data based on particular column value, time name into different workbooks for sending emails to respective clients? Absolutely, Pranay. This can be done. Pranay, and one request is everyone who are asking any questions, please type it with selecting in the chat box as everyone, because I need to read it again. If you send it to only to me, like other people cannot understand like what I'm trying to explain. So if you type it in the by selecting everyone, it will be easy to understand how we get this option format. Oh, this one I have created it like some button. I'm going to show you Amrita. I'm going to make you learn that. This macro is still running. Actually, it will take some less than 5 minutes. I guess it is done now. See, the raw data is formatted in the required format. Raw data was having so many blanks. It was in the columns and so on, right? Like if I show you this, once I click OK, the message was giving, right? It is showing in the format. It was blank, right? I removed everything. Now it is giving in the required format. You see this? Thousands of records, whatever. If I need to do that copy paste, that horizontal data to vertical, that transpose data, so much manual work. So that's got automated less than 5 minutes. Right? So these are some examples of what you can do with the VBAMacros. Now let's start our learning this VBAMacros journey. So let's see this now. I'll open brand new Excel file. Here is a new Excel file. What we are going to do in this is we'll be writing our first macro. We are going to write our first macro. Macro means what? Automation, right? Some automation like manual work every day I'm doing. Going forward, I don't want to do that manual work. I want to automate it. Correct? So if you really want to automate something, yes, it can be done. So as we are very new to it, I'm assuming that you are new to VBA macros. You are not aware anything about the macros. Just know you got to know what is the power of the VBA macros. By using it, we can automate so many things. So you want to learn it now from the scratch. So I'm going to teach you that now. So let's see. First thing is, if you want to learn the VBA macros, want to work with the VBA macros, first thing you need to have the developer ribbon. Any Excel workbook you open, by default, like you will be having all these ribbons, but not the developer by default. You need to enable only one time. Going forward, you need not enable again and again every day. Not required. Only one time you do it so that you'll be able to see this developer ribbon. Every day I work with the developer ribbon, that macros I work. So that is the reason like I enabled it. So I'll show you how to enable the developer ribbon field. Like open any Excel file, go to file. Once you click on the file, click on the options. Once you click on the options, there is a customized ribbon. Customized ribbon. Once I click on the customized ribbon, here is the option called developer ribbon. Like developer ribbon by default, it will be not selected. Like you see this home ribbon, insert ribbon, all are like enabled. But the developer ribbon for you, it is not enabled. What do you need to do? You need to enable it. So for example, if I am selected, click OK, developer ribbon is not showing. Just like you, mine also not showing. I want to enable it now. So what I do, once again, I'll go to file, options, customize ribbon, ribbons. Those are ribbons, right? Home ribbon, insert ribbon, and so on. Developer ribbon is enable it and click OK. So that it is enabled and it is showing here now. Got it? So this power pivot and help ribbon I will disable just to concentrate working on the help ribbon power pivot and disable. Yeah, we have the developer ribbon here. Okay. In all the versions, whether you're using 2007, 10, 13, 16, 19, 2021, and Microsoft, all of them you have. So only for 2007, to enable it, instead of going to options and customize ribbon, you need to go to options and there is an option called popular. Options only you need to go. Other than that, if you're using the 2010 version or any of the versions, later versions, steps are same, absolutely same. Okay. Okay, fine. So as you are very new to macros, you don't know way to write the code, how to write the code. So no problem. There is a great tool available in the developer ribbon. In this Excel, there is a very great tool available called record macros. With the help of the recording macros, you can automate your day-to-day tasks. You can automate your the task, whatever the task you are doing manually, that can be automated. So normally recording means what? Let's say recording a song. What do? You'll record it one time. Let's say you're a singer, you record it one time and you'll play it a number of times. Correct? Otherwise, you have a song, like you'll go to YouTube and you'll type that one, search for the song, and you'll play it, and it will play the same song repeatedly how many times you want to play it. Correct? So here, there is option called record in the developer ribbon. If I go, there is option called record macro. What is this record macro means? It is recording your steps. What are the steps you are doing in Excel? That will be recorded. Nothing but recording your actions. Normally, like recording a song or recording your voice, but here recording your steps. What steps? Whatever you are doing at the time of recording, what are the steps you are doing? Whether you're selecting a cell or writing a value in a cell or like inserting a new sheet, deleting a sheet, everything will be get recorded. Is that clear? So see this. Let me take my requirement as like this. The requirement is I want to write some employee names in the column E. some employee names in the column E. First time I'll do that actions with the help of the record macro. Going forward, if I need to enter anytime same employee name, I need not to type it again. Even if I deleted those values, I need not to enter again by using the record macro option. I mean, like by running that macro, whatever we recorded, we can get the same result. One time you are doing manually, going forward it will be taken care. Fine. One time you are recording a song and you can play a number of times similar to this. Okay. So, guys, hope you are following. Are we good? Still here? Amrita, Krishna, Jagdish, everyone? Yes. Okay, great. So let me click on the record macro. Once I click on the record macro, it is giving a record macro dialog box. It's asking for the macro name. What is the macro name you want to give? By default, it is giving the name called macro1. It's up to you whether you want to keep that name or you want to give your that another name. Let's say I'll give the name like this is the name I given, my first macro. Okay. Make sure that you don't give any space like this. Even if you try it won't take it any space and anything like right now. If you give it 9, if you click OK, it will throw the error. So I don't want to do that mistake. No space, no special characters. Without space, you write that macro name. And there are some other things, shortcut key, store macro, all these are the optional one. Leave it and talk about this in some time. So let me click on OK. Before I click OK here, observe this carefully, keep an eye here. Like right now, record macro, it is showing like this red color one icon, this is icon it is showing, right? So once I click OK, now you see this, it is showing this, it is that icon got changed to stop recording. Stop recording means what? Currently it is recording. So currently it is recording means whatever you do the actions, everything will be get recorded. If you are recording a song, at the time of recording mode, whatever you say, whether you say a word or song, anything, it will get recorded, right? So similarly, now it is in the recorded mode, anything you are doing, that will be recorded. So let me start doing my actions. I'll select the even cell. Remember my actions. So those actions will be recorded in the record macro. So I selected the E1. So once I select the E1, I want to write the header name called employee names. Okay. I'm writing EMPL employee names. Enter. Once I enter, nothing but selecting the other cell, that is also get recorded. I written the employee name, that is also got recorded. Everything is getting recorded. I'll write some names here. So these are the names. I'm done with it. Some 5 names are written. So I'm fine with it. I stop the recording now. So once I click on the stop recording, these names are deleted. What I said, recording macro means just like a singing a song and you can play a number of times, right? So we have recorded our actions that can be played a number of times. So I want to play that one. I want to execute that code. So record macro for the recording some steps, but already we recorded. So the recorded steps, if you want to see it, click on the macros. Once you click on the macros, here you see that there is a name called my first macro. This is the name, this is our macro name that we want to run it. So once I click on the run, okay, you see this, all the names automatically it is given. It is executed that step and it is giving it now. Is this clear? So I want to make this one interactive session. So people who are having the laptops now, open your laptops and enable the developer ribbon. What are the exercise I have done? Small exercise. Please do it now and let me know once it is done. If anyone facing challenge like to enable the developer ribbon or to run the macro, anything, let me know. So take 2 minutes time, quickly execute this. First, enable the developer ribbon and record the macro. So once you open the Excel workbook, your cursor will be at the A1 only. Just write it not in the A1 place. Instead of A1, you take any other column. I'll tell you why. So I have taken from the E1 onwards. You can take from the E or EF, it's up to you. But instead of from the A1, you take any other cell. Once you click on the record macro, you take any other cell and start recording your actions. Once you're done, stop recording. And make sure that while you're doing these actions, don't do any unnecessary steps. Means scroll up, scroll down also. It won't know which is required, which is not required, right? So those records also, those steps also will be recorded. Getting it? So that's the reason while you're recording, you should be careful. You should do only things which is which is required. Okay. Once you're done it, let me know. Online guys, I'll be waiting. Okay. Okay. Super. So Dinesh is asking good question. I have recorded macro in column E. Can we use a macro to get same employee names in another column? Okay. First, we'll see. Let me modify that question. Can I use the same macro in the another sheet? Okay. Column E itself, but different sheet. Let's give a try that. I'll insert the new sheet, or already existing sheet, whatever. So I'll go to developer ribbon, macros, and my first macro. And once I click on the run, it is giving the employee names in the sheet 2 also. You try it in the sheet 3, still it will work, and it is giving it. Another instead of column E, is there another place you are saying? Yes, definitely. Definitely. That's what. That can be done. So at the time of recording, you done it in the column E, right? So macro recorder, what it understood that hey, every time he needs in the column E only. But no, not in the E. By mistake, I done it in the E. I want in the G. I want in the some other place. That could be one requirement. Or another requirement could be, please don't. I don't tell that always either C or always in the E. Wherever my cursor is, that place it should be start giving my employee names. my cursor, nothing but wherever my active cell. If my active cell is here, from here onwards, it should give the employee names. If my cursor is here, it should be given from here. Getting it? So that could be also your requirement. So these things, how to do it, we'll be learning today. Okay. Yeah. So Dinesh, I'll be answering in some time. Oh, great. Fine. We are done with this simple recording of macro. But I want to see where is the code. It is recorded. Some code written. That is the reason it is running, right? So where it is got stored, how it is look like. First of all, where the code is and how it look like. Correct. So we want to see that. First thing you need to know that whatever the code you have recorded or you written on your own, that will be stored within your Excel workbook only. That will be stored within the Excel workbook. That is not a separate application. That is not a separate place. It cannot be stored. So if you want to see that code, what do you need to do? Go to developer ribbon and click on the Visual Basic. That first option for Visual Basic. On hover of it, it is also showing that shortcut key called Alt F11. So I'll be using Alt F11 a lot. So otherwise, just click on it. It will open the some window. This window. So you see here. I request all of you to press the Alt F11. Once again, I'm showing. I'm in Excel. Go to open any Excel file. You already enable the developer ribbon. Once you click on the Visual Basic, this is how it may show to you first time. All the gray color, like it is saying that Microsoft Visual Basic for applications. So where is the code? I don't see anywhere. But I want to see the code. We have recorded small code. We recorded. We want to see. So I'll show you some steps now. Like just like in Excel, here also we have the ribbons. These are the old ribbons, like file, edit, view, and so on. Coding related. Like so, what you need to do is first thing, click on the view ribbon. In the view ribbon, there are like three buttons you need to click. Three options. One is the code. Click on the code window. Some plain white color it is showing. That's okay. Even if it is for you, if it is showing the gray color also not a problem. I'll answer it. Go to view ribbon. First time we clicked on the code, nothing but F7 shortcut key wise. And after that, click on the project explorer. After the third one should be project properties window. These three things. So project explorer, control R. So instead of I'm clicking project explorer button, I can also use the control R. Let me give it a try. I'll click here. Press control R. Yes, it is opening the something called project explorer. What is the project explorer? I'll explain it. Then after that, like view ribbon, what is that another one? Properties window. F4 is a shortcut key, right? So I press F4. If I press F4, if it is not working, what you do is function key with F4. Nothing but your laptop settings may require function key to enable that. So function key with the F4. Mine also function key required. So I pressed it. Now it is showing you something properties window. You can move like this, resize this. You can increase the size like this and so on. But still I don't see the code. Where is the code? So remember that the code will be in the modules. It will be in the modules. In that modules, there is a plus symbol, right? Expanded. In this, double click on the module one. Once you double click on it, you will be able to see the code. Is that clear? Let's say if you don't double click, if you just select it, hey, Karthik was showing that in the module one, it will be there, the recorded one, it is not showing. It won't show until unless you double click on it. Once you double click, then it will select and it will show you whatever the code it is got recorded. Okay. So this code will try to understand now. You will be able to understand very easily, trust me easily, like if you know the actions what you have done. Do you remember what are the actions you have done at the time of recording? Yeah, what steps you have done? We clicked on the record macro. After that, like yeah, let me go back. My cursor was somewhere here. Once I click on the record macro, I selected the E1 cell, written the employee name. Then after writing employee names, enter. Once I enter, then only it will go to next cell. So once I move to next cell, then I return the search. One again enter. Write the name, again enter, and so on and so on. Like this, some 4-5 names are written. And I clicked on the stop recording. Agree? And what was the macro name? My first macro. Agree? So let's go here now. I'm just clicking Alt tab to move between Excel workbook to this code. Alt tab. Just changing the windows, right? Yeah, so fine. Every macro will start with a sub. Every macro will start with a sub, and like this is the and it is followed by macro name. This is our macro name. Agree? And by default, it will always write the bracket open and bracket close. That's fine. And whatever the color you see in the green color, those are your comments. Those are the comments. Nothing but you can write anything in the after writing the single quote that is considering as a comment. For example, I'll write the single quotes here. I can write like this. Something like this, I can write it. So whether you delete them or not delete them, there is no change in the actual output. Is that clear? Yeah. So let me keep this one as of now. One important step I'm going to do, I'm going to tell you now. Whenever you want to execute the code, whenever you want to understand the code, whatever the code it is written, even you are very pressure to it, you don't understand as of now, right? So I'll make you understand this. So to do that, to run this line, this is the first line, this is the second line, this is the third line. To understand these lines, what you do is first thing what you do is make this window something like 50%. Excel is 100% full maximized window, whereas VBA code I'll make it something 50% or 40% so that I'll be able to see the Excel and I'll be able to see the code here. Getting it? You see this now. So keep your cursor anywhere here. If I delete all of them, you see this. If I'll keep my cursor anywhere within the sub and end sub. Any macro will start with the sub, end with the end sub. You keep your cursor anywhere here. Till now we don't understand what is this. No problem. Here is the run button. In YouTube, play button also this is the one, right? Here also play button. Nothing but run the macros. So once you click on it, remember like there are no values here. Once I click on this run button, yes, it is executing the code and it is giving the values. Correct? But it is doing very fast. I want to understand each line by line. Getting it? So I'll delete them. Like let it be my cursor anywhere. I'll go back to this. Remember this window is in some 40 or 50% of it so that I'll be able to see my Excel output. So now instead of running like this, we will be learning something called step-by-step execution. Any programming language, you'll find that step-by-step execution. If you're aware about the C or like Java or anything, like step-by-step execution will be there. So line by line execution it will show us now. So if I press F8 here, once I press F8, here you see this sub, my first macro, this some yellow color it is showing, nothing but I'm going to execute the macro line by line. If I press F8 here, this line, let's read this line, it's saying that range even dot select. Normally, we call it as a cell even. Here in the VB language, it is called as a range even. So range even or cell even both are same. So what is this command means? Range even select. Nothing but select the even cell. But is it selected the even cell? It is still in the K4 only. Why it is not listening to our words? What you need to understand is this yellow line, when it moves to the next line, then it will listen to your words. So our words, like whatever the line it is written, that will be executed when this yellow line moves to the next line. Is that clear? Now with this learning, with that information, when I press F8, now you see this range even dot select. Yes, it is selected the even cell. So whatever the selected cell, whatever the active cell, whatever the cell it is got selected, that is the active cell. Agree? So you see this active cell dot formula R1 is saying, hey, we are not written any formulas, but it is saying something called formula R1C1. Don't worry, wherever you see the formula R1C1, assume that value. Nothing but you read this way. active cell value equal to employee names. Is this writing that in the active cell as employee name? Not written. When it is going to execute this, when it moves to the next line. So let me press F8. Once I press F8, in the active cell, it is written the employee name. Is this clear? Yes, it is written the employee name. Then now you see the range B2.select. Now it is going to select the B2 cell. When I press F8, yes, it is selected the B2. Then that is your active cell. That active cell value is written that search. Then select the other cell and write another value, and so on and so on. So once you done that, once you written that name called alphabet, after writing the alphabet, I just enter, right? Nothing but it is selecting the B7 cell. Actually, selecting the B7 cell is not required. I can actually remove this line, but let it be. I'm not modifying anything. Press F8. Yes, it is selected the B7 cell. And after that, ends up. Ends up means what? End of the macro. Done. Like, right? Like it is done. When I press F8, done. Understood? So it is executed that complete code line by line. We are executed, and we are taking our own time to understand that line. Right? You execute one line, you take a break, you come back, still it will be there. Getting it? But if you press F5, I'm going to say that play button, play button, it will run execute quickly and give the output. But if you want to learn, if you want to know what is that line is doing, first line, second line, third line, you need to execute line by line only. Okay, that is a very useful shortcut key, F8. Got it? If F8 is not working, what do you need to do? Function key with the F8. Remember this. Any function keys, if it is not working directly, you need to use with the function key with the those yes, those keys.
So there we can say that
Fine, fine, correct. So now you people are asking that, hey, instead of E, can I change it to G or C anywhere? So in such case, you tell me by seeing the code, you tell me what are the changes I need to do. Instead of E, it should be G. So, range of E1, can I change it to G1? And that will be, once you select that cell, that will be your active cell. Then E2 dot select, nothing but there you write the G2. Then wherever it is a E, you replace with the G. So that will be writing in the G. Agree? Yeah, fine. That is the answer. Fine. But there are so many lines are written. I can reduce these lines of code. These lines can be reduced. Why need to reduce? Like if you need to travel from here to, let's say, Uppal, if you are new to Hyderabad, what do? You'll search in Google what is the shortest way to go to Uppal or any other place, correct? So that it will take less time. Similarly, if you have the more lines of code, it will take more time. If it is less lines of code, it will take less time to execute that code. Getting it? And it will be faster. The code execution will be faster. And reading purpose also, I mean, to modify anything also, instead of reading all the 100 lines, if it is a 10 lines, I can understand easily and I can modify easily. Getting it? So that is the reason. What I'm going to make you learn now is how to modify the recorded code. How to modify the recorded code I'm going to make you learn now. So without disturbing this first code, I'll take a copy of this entire code, Control C. I'll paste it here. Remember that within the module 1, you can have n number of macros. N number of macros you can have. Again, one more point you remember that macro name should not be the same. That is a condition. So here is my first macro. Here also my first macro, it should not be. I'll call it as my first macro improved version, something I'll call it. So I'm trying to remove unnecessary steps. First of all, this green color, those are just comments. I'll remove these many. If I really wanted some comment, I'll write single quotes, I'll write by comment. Something I'll write it. Whatever the notes you want to write it, write down, just writing the single quotes first, then followed by any comment, it will be taken as a comment. So all the comments will show in the green color. Actual quotes will show in the black color. Okay. Fine. Before I modify this, let's go to this Excel. If I ask you a simple question, forget about the VBA. If I ask you, hey, write Excel is magic in the K1 cell, what is the first step you do? Select the K1 cell, and then you write whether Excel is magic or VBA is easy or anything. You'll write it. First step is select the cell, then only you will be able to write it. Without selecting a cell, you cannot write in that cell. Agree? So you'll select like this. That is the first action. Then you'll write the value. So when you're recording the macro also, what it is doing is it is selecting a cell, then writing the value. Selecting a cell and writing the value. Selecting the cell and writing the value. What you need to know is, hey, if you're doing the base with the VBA, there is no need of selecting a cell. Directly you can tell that, hey, range E1, write employee name. The range E2, write search, and so on. There is no need of selecting a cell. Is that clear? So check out this. Like range E1 means that's cell E1, right? So, and one more thing, wherever you see the formula R1C1, what I said, replace with the value, right? First we'll do this change. I'll double click on this formula R1C1, it is got selected. Control H, right? Control H is the shortcut key in Excel for find and replace. Same shortcut I can use it here also. Let me press Control H. Once I press Control H, it is showing a dialog box replace. So in this replace, find what? Formula R1C1. I did not type it. How come it is showing it? This is a great option, like whatever you selected, that will be by default, it will be written. If it is something else, you can change it. Find what? Formula R1C1. Replace with what? Value. I said wherever formula R1C1 you assume as a value, right? We are replacing with a value. Where you are going to do these changes, not in the current module. Current module means it is having this second macro and first macro, everything. You know, that recorded macro first one, I don't want to modify anything in it. I want to modify this change. I want to replace only in the current procedure. Current procedure means current macro. The current macro name is this one. Correct. So in the current macro only, I want to modify, I want to replace wherever I see the formula, even I want to replace the value. So if I click on the replace, it is replaced here, and it is going to replace. Instead of clicking these many times, I can click on the replace all. Once I click on replace all, these many places is replaced. I'm done. Click OK and close, so that you'll be able to see the value wherever the formula are. Is that clear? Yeah, that's fine. Now again, come back like I was telling that if you want to write it in the why we are writing the dot value, why not something else, we'll be talking later. As of now, very high level, we are trying to understand the code. Even if you don't write nothing will happen. See, for just more readability. See, instead of Sanskrit, if it is written in the, I don't say Sanskrit, I don't know. Instead of in Hindi, if it is written in the Telugu, I can read it more faster. Right? Like instead of that formula runs, even if it is a value, I can read it easily. Otherwise, if it is a formula runs, even let it be. No problem. Getting it? For more readability purpose, I did modify that. I'm coming back here now. I said that to select the K1 cell, there is no need of selecting the K1 cell. Directly range K1 dot value equal to what are the value you want to write it. With the same, with that knowledge, what I do is here we are selecting the E1 cell, then we are writing the value called employee name. We are selecting another cell that become your active cell. In the active cell, we are writing the search. Again, we are selecting another cell. We are writing the active cell value as a cushy. No, I don't want to do that. I want to write it directly. So what you do is range E1. I'll take a copy of it. In the place of active cell, I'll just replace with the range E1. Now I can get rid of this line. There is no need of writing the selecting a cell. Is this clear? Now next one is what? You are selecting the range E2, then that becomes your active cell. No, I'll directly take a copy of it and paste it here. I need not to select the E2 cell. Same thing I'll repeat for the rest of the cells. And I can remove this step. Alfred is our last name, right? So can I remove this E7 dot select? Not required, right? So now tell me. Earlier one was something like some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, some 11, 13 lines, I guess. But whereas here it is just 6 lines. From 13 to 6 lines, it is reduced. So obviously this is looks better than previous one, readability wise and execution wise as well. Correct. So let's give a try whether it is working or not. Whether it is working or not. And delete all these values. I want to execute step by step this this macro. What do you do? Step by step means what? Function key with F8 or just F8 based on your laptop. And press F8 function key with F8. You see this in the my cursor is actually in the F7, but in the E1 it needs to write the employee name. Let me press F8. Yes, it is written that E1 value as employee name, even though your cursor is here. Normal Excel, this is not possible. If you are in H7, if you are in the H7 and you want to write it something in the E1 cell, that is not possible until unless you select that cell. But it is possible with the VBA. So when I press F8, F8 and so on, once I'm done with it, ends up done. Let's say I want to add 2 more new names. What do? Do you record the macro once again and do the modification in it? Or online guys, I'll give you the option to unmute yourself. Make sure that you don't speak outside of the class. Yeah, you can unmute now. And I want to add 2 names. Like if I need to add it the 2 names, how do you do this? Yeah, take this as an exercise now. Already you have recorded the code and it is executed and it is showing that code now, right? You also modify similar to mine, like you don't write it whatever it is showing here. You already recorded, take a copy of it, paste it another place, just below to it, and just change the macro name. Otherwise, same macro name, if you keep it, it will throw the error. I'll quickly show you. Let's say, this is my first macro. Here also I'm using the same macro name. If I'm trying to press F8, it is showing that error. Ambiguous name detected, my first macro. Because same macro name it cannot have in the same module. If it is other module, it can have it. What I want, like already you recorded a code in the first exercise. You modify this, decrease the lines of code, and also what earlier if you written some 6 names, you add 2 more new names. What are the names it is? Without recording once again. Once you've done that, share that code. Take 2 minutes and quickly do it now. All of you.
Karthik,
Yes, please.
so if there are like the way you have modified for the second one for the improved version. So now if there are, this range is only like 13 it was initially and now it became 6. But say if we have 50 such ranges, then we keep on like doing that, like select range E1 and then delete the next and then again select the other.
Okay. To say, let me tell you, let me repeat what is my understanding. You're saying that there are some 50 names, correct? Some 50
Yeah,
names
so
are there.
suppose, yeah, 50 names are there, yes.
50 names. So, do you want me to repeat the 50 times while I'm clicking on the recording, correct? While I'm
Yeah,
recording.
not the recording, I mean this one, the
This
where
one.
we are,
Okay.
yeah, the where we are giving the, yeah, exactly, the second one.
Okay. Okay, fine. Yeah. With this learning, yes, you need to write the 50 times. But there are some other methods we'll be learning. With that way, So let's say there are names are there in the some other hidden sheet or some other sheet. From there you can take it and you can write it. Only with the one line copy paste it can be done. That also we are going to learn. Let's say in the one place in a sheet one you have some 100 names. That 100 same names need to be copied and pasted in the another sheet. You don't see that and type it in another sheet, right? In general, what we do, we'll do the copy, we'll paste it. So if the data is available in the one of the sheet or another workbook, you can copy it, you can paste it, and it will give the output with the one line of code. So there is no need of 50 lines or 100 lines. As the names are nowhere sitting in anywhere, I'm typing those values. So that is the reason we are writing this way. Is that clear, Amrita?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry? Everything in the same module, correct. Another one, how to create another module? Just insert module. That's simple. In the module. Like you may ask me, hey, if I can have it module one itself multiple macros, what is the need of the module two? That could be the next question. So in a house, why you have multiple rooms? One is kitchen, one is hall, bedroom, and so on. Why? Different purpose. So what I do, what I say here with respect to that. So in the module one, all the formatting macros I'll keep it. In the module two, I'll keep all my consolidation of macros. I mean, I will be arranging such a way that modules, it will be easy for me to identify. Otherwise, you can keep in the module one itself everything. But it will for you, it will be difficult if you have the 50 macros in one module one. So, hey, where is that 39th macro? Searching will be takes time. So it's up to you. How do you want to arrange? No. Macro will work line by line. Either you execute module one related first macro or module two related second macro. It's up to you. But at a time, only one macro. No multitasking. Hmm.
అప్పుడు ఇచ్చేసి అప్పుడు సెలెక్ట్ అది
ఇక్కడే చేసేయచ్చు కదా అంటున్నావు ఐ డోంట్ నో
అది ఒకేసారి రిప్లేస్ చేసి ఇక్కడ యాక్టివ్ సెల్ లో మీరు రిప్లేస్ చేసి ఇక్కడ 5 minutes copy.
Yeah, whichever you feel comfortable, you can do it. I want to make it, yeah, అర్థం కావడానికి అలా చేసాను. Okay, yeah. Final output రావాలి మనకి. Right? I want to add 2 more new names, right? Like what do you do? Simply we'll take a copy, we'll paste it here and paste it here, and like you change this to E6 to E7, and this is E8, and write the new names. What are the names it is? Something like this, right? Once I execute this, I should be able to see that we added names as well. Correct? I have executed, that's the reason. Now, here is the requirement. I want employee names. Let's say, what are the employee names? It's up to you. Employee names, you take it, and beside to it, it should be their salary. That should be their salary. Let's say 25,000, 99,000, and so on, like this. It should show some salary. It's up to you what salary you want to write it. Don't record a macro. With the learning of this, you do cheating, you do copy paste. I don't mind, but get me the results here. Getting it? So, any one of you come here, people who are very new to that macro, you come here and write that code. Getting it? Normally, the way I do it, if I don't know about the coding, the way I type it is, let's say first I'll write the employee names. Then beside to it, salary. I'm typing name, salary. Otherwise, some people may want to write first all that employee names, then salary. It's up to you how do you want to follow. But I follow this way: employee name, then salary. For example, I'll write some name and salary, something like this. And next name, some salary, and so on. Like this, I want you to write it some 3-4 names. Their name and salary should be written in this place. Is that clear? Requirement? So I want headers also, some employee name and the salary that should be written, and write the names and salary. Okay, with the code. So what do you do? Any time macro needs to be written means you will start with the sub. Instead of recording, we are typing our own code, sub, after sub, followed by some macro name. Let's say I'll call it as a employee salary info. I said not to use any spaces, right? So that is the reason we are typing it like this. Enter. Underscore is valid. I said no space, no special characters. But underscore is valid. Other than that, don't take any special characters. So here we have written all this. This is the macro name we given. So what do you do now? You write the code. You take the help of the previous lines. You do the copy paste. I really don't mind. But get me the result. Any company also, that's what they see. Like I given the task, you do it. Even they know that like many of us do the Google. You use the Google, you should have that knowledge to Google it, and based on your requirement, you should be able to modify it. So fine. So come here and quickly finish this task. Online guys, I hope you understood the requirement. Quickly do this now. There will be offline guys will be doing here. If they are doing any mistake, you can suggest them. Yeah. Thank you. double quotes. That? Yes. Okay. So simply write a formula which will pull all the names from other macro. Yeah, you can call a macro. I'll show you that. Fine. So what he has written and plus and the input G1 value is this, H1 value is this, two and his salary. Sushi and his salary. Rajesh and his salary, and so on. Fine. So if I select all of them, let's say there is a space, right? Like I want to remove that space. Instead of coming here and backspace, again going down and backspace, instead of doing these many times, I can select all of them. I can click on the shift tab, so that it will move to that mode. So I don't want to give any gap. Now I want to give all of them that indentation. Select them, click on the tab, it will give the 5 space tab. So this is how you can execute. So this is executing well and good, but like this should be. If I want to run it, how you're doing? You're going to developer ribbon, clicking on the macros, and select the macro whichever you created, like this one, I guess, and click on the run. It is running. But your end user, your client is not having the developer ribbon. You cannot ask him that, hey, go to developer ribbon and click on the macros and select the macro and run it. This is not user friendly. Agree? They can do it, small steps, but I don't want to ask them like this. Instead of that, there should be a button. Once you click on that button, it should execute that macro and give me output. Is that clear? So I click on the insert button, insert ribbon. In the insert ribbon, illustrations, shapes. You take any of the shapes. It's up to you. Even you can insert some pictures also. You keep this Virat Kohli picture and you can assign a macro to it. It works. So fine. So I'll select this rectangle shape. Whatever size you want, you can give it and take the moderate size. Now once I select this, do right click and there is something called edit text. In this edit text, you can run, you can write whatever you want. Run macros. Okay. Once you click on run macros, if you want, you can make it center. These all are alignments, I mean formatting related one. Whether you want to do it or not, it's up to you. So, right. But if I'm clicking on it, no macro is running because you did not mention anything about it. You need to tell that, hey, run. There are 3 macros are there. Which macro needs to be run? On button click, you need to tell. So let me select this button. Do right click. Last but third, there is an option called assign macro. Once I click on assign macro, hey, I have the 3 macros in my library. Which one you want to assign? You can assign any one macro only, one button, one macro only. If you have another button, another macro. So let me select this and click OK. I selected that third macro what you have written. And once I click on this button, yes, it is executing and giving that output. Understood this? Let me delete again. If I click on this, it should execute and give the answer, and also it should say that task completed. Something like that, it should give the message. So if you want to add this, you go here. After executing that, after giving this all this output, then only you want to show the message. That is the reason I'm keeping that message box at bottom. Correct. You don't want to show the message box before executing this code. Getting it? So I'll be writing something called MSG box. MSG box nothing but message box, and this message box function, it is asking for the prompt. What message, what prompt you want to show to the user, it is asking. Let me give that message that task completed successfully, or whatever you want to write down. That's it. So now I'll execute this once again. See this? The title is showing that Microsoft Excel and it's saying that task completed. And click OK, done. But the title task done, I don't want to have that. Instead of task completed, I mean, instead of Microsoft Excel, that is the default one, the title also you can modify. The title you can say that status or work status or whatever. So if you want to modify, you go here, comma, the prompt place we written the task completed, and in the title place, 2 commas are written because that button is related, it is asking. Let me show that one. So the first part is the prompt. Second part is what button. The VBAMacros button is the default one. So you see this, not okay. I want to show that. I want to show yes or no. Getting it? There are many options are there. In the buttons, you can show yes, no, cancel. See, in the forms, in the web URLs, you'll be seeing this kind of buttons, right? So do you want to continue? yes or no or cancel will be there. But in our case, like let it be okay only. Getting it? I want to get only okay button, no other things. We'll be talking more about it in the upcoming sessions. But as of now, that simple stuff I'm showing you. And in the title, what is the title you want to show? The title, if you don't give it, it was taking the title as a Microsoft Excel. Instead of that, I'll say just status. We run it once again now. It is written all the values and saying that status task completed. Is that clear? So you can customize this way. Okay, Stay is asking, can't we write a formula which pull employee names from the other macro? I mean, like how to call another macro? I'll show you. For example, let's say I'll call it as a macro one. Macro one. Macro one is also valid name. I said no special character. One is not a special character. That is a number. Macro one, yes, you can write. Macro two, you can write it. So macro one, I just want to write it as a message box. Hello world. That is the macro one. If I press F5, like that macro executing and giving the message that hello world. So I want to write another macro. Let's say macro two. This macro two also, what is the task is whatever it is done in the whatever the task is there in the macro one that needs to be executed. So nothing but instead of again typing the message box, hello world, what I do is I'll call the macro one. You see this? How simple words it is. Call to your friend. You'll take mobile and do it. So if you want to call any macro, just write the word call and followed by that macro name. So let's execute this now. If I press F8 here, F8 means step-by-step execution. It is going to what? Call macro one. Nothing but it will go to macro one. See this carefully. We are actually running the macro two, but it will go to macro one and it is going to show me message box hello world. Yes, it is done. Click OK. The next line is end sub. End sub means end of the macro. End of the macro of the macro one. Once I press F8, it is done for the macro one, but it is coming end sub once again because actually we started running the macro from the macro two. Now it is executed and it is showing the end sub. Is that clear? Let's say you have the another macro also. So macro two, I'll say macro three. Something like this, right? And I want to call the first. These two macros I want to call macro one and macro three. First, I want to show India is great. Then I want to run the. Then I want to show, run the this hello world one. So what do you do? Call macro three because I want to show that first I want to run the macro three. Then you call the macro one. If you want to call two of your friends, first you will call one person. You call another person. Of course, you can say I can do the conference also, but they are not mutual friends. So fine. Here you see, if I press F8, otherwise I'll run it. Run means it will execute from top to bottom. If I run it, it is saying India is great. Once you click OK, unless you click OK, it won't go to the next line. It won't go to the next line. So remember this. You need to take a call here. Nothing but you need to do that action, manual work. You need to click OK. Then only it will go to the next line. The next line is also message box. Again, you go for a break and come back. Still, it will be shown this message only. Unless you execute, let's say after this message box, there are 50 lines are there. 50 lines won't execute unless you click OK. Getting it? Because macro is line by line execution. Click OK. Is that clear? Yeah. Fine. In the another module, I can remove this. If you want to remove any module, remove that module. No. We will record one more macro. We'll try to reduce the lines of code. After doing that, we'll take a small break. Then we'll be back. We'll be learning many other things. Okay. That another requirement, what I want is I have the employee names and salary, right? This few people I've created. I want to apply some formatting to it. I want to apply some formatting to it. So how do you apply the formatting? Normally I'll go to home ribbon. I'll select this cells. I'll go to, let's say, what are the formatting requirements I have. I'll be writing it just for the clarity. The first task is like back, yeah, font name. Let's say font name. Font name should be, let's say, Arial. Font size should be, let's say, 18, and it should be background color. Background color should be yellow. PC color, nothing but background color, yellow. And text color, let's say red. Not looks good, but I'm just taking it. 5, make it bold. The text make it bold, and also italic, something like this. Okay. All the 6 tasks I need to do. What do you do in general? You select them. Go here, change it to Arial. Change the size to, oh, this is a typo, right? And then like background color, like this you're doing it, correct? Instead of I do it manually like this, what we do is we'll record a macro. That steps will be recorded with the code, the record macro option, so that whenever I want it, I can use that code. Getting it? If someone deleted or you deleted, you want it again, once again, you run the macro, it will give you, correct? So see this now. Oh, till now I did not save this file. Let me save this file first. I want to save it in the format called XLSM. Please don't save your macro files in the XLSX. If you save it, it will go on. All the macros will be removed because XLSX cannot contain the macros. Default one for any one of you, default save, like when you're saving it, the file will be get saved in the XLSX only. But mine is I have done some changes in my settings, so that is the reason it was saving in the XLSB. The default one, I change it. But for you, like if you recorded some macro code in the XLSX, if you're trying to save it, it will show some error. Not error, it will show some information stating that macros cannot be saved in the XLSX file. Please save the save as with a different extension. So let me go with the XLSM. M means macro, nothing but macro enabled workbook. So I'll go with that XLSM or XLSB also fine. So this is my macro name. Click on the save, fine. So once again, we are going to record this time. Click on the, my cursor is anywhere, like anywhere your cursor. Click on the developer ribbon. Click on the record macro. Remember, whenever you're recording a macro, don't do any unnecessary steps. Only required steps only you do it. If you scroll down, scroll up, if you insert a new sheet, if you go to another window, everything will be recorded. So click on the record macro. Once I click on the record macro, it's saying that macro 4. Instead of recording macro 4, as it is going to do some formatting changes, so instead of giving them name like macro 1, macro 2, macro 3, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, I don't understand. If I have the macro 1 to macro 100, what is the macro 50 will do? What is the macro 10 will do? You don't know. But if I give the names like this, formatting macro, this makes sense. And I can easily identify what is that macro is. So I can click OK. And this time I'll show you what is the shortcut key is. I'll give you some shortcut key. Nothing but to execute this macro, instead of assigning a button, inserting a button, and like assigning a macro to it, that is the one way, or going to develop a ribbon, running is another way, or F8 is another way. Multiple ways we learned. I want to run using the shortcut key. So control is a common. What is the shortcut key you want to give? You can give any alphabet, any single alphabet, A to Z, anything. So which alphabet you want to give? Oh, as it is a formatting, F. Okay, super. I'll give you that F. Control F is the shortcut key to run this macro. Click OK. Now let's execute this now. I'm started recording that I selected this range. Remember, as I started recording, that's the reason stop recording is showing. So as I selected this range, that will get recorded. Correct? So I'll go to home ribbon to make this font name as an Arial. That is the first task. Correct? I'll go here. Actually, I forgot to change that to by default it was any cell will be in Calibri. Instead of Arial, let's take another one. Otherwise, something belly empty is there. That is my font name. I'll go with that belly empty. Okay, that belly empty is set it. Correct. That is the first task done. Second task is what? Font size should be 18. So I'll change it to 18. Enter. Yes. And background color should be yellow. So I'll go here. I'll select the background color yellow, and text color should be something red. Correct. And bold. It should be bold, and it should be italic as well. How many tasks we have done? Some 6. How many lines it could be recorded? What is it? 1 line? 12. Okay. Oh, how come it is 12? In the previous one, with the previous experience, that's what, with the experience only we'll talk, right? So in the previous experience, the first recorded macro, if you are writing employee name, it is selecting the cell and it is writing the value, nothing but 2 lines. So that's how some 12 or 13 lines it is written. So with that, like you people are saying the 12 lines. Okay. How about other people? What do you think? Online guys? Anusha, Shreya, Shiva, Amrita, Jagdish. Oh, I did not click the stop recording yet. Sorry, it's my bad. Of course, if you click on the ribbon, that won't be recorded. Don't worry. Like click on the record macro, stop recording. I'll go to Visual Basic now. Once I click on the Visual Basic, in the same module one only it said inserted. That macro name is a formatting macro. And you see this, how many lines? There's the first line, there's the second line, third, fourth, 5. Oh, there are more than 50 lines look like. Agree? There are so many lines. Remember one thing. Whenever you record a macro code, apart from the required lines of code, it will record many unnecessary lines of code also. You need to identify which is the required, which is not required one. How do you identify which is the required, what is the not required? That I'm going to tell you. What is it? Yeah, we need to execute step by step. I told you, right? Whatever the simple steps I'm telling, even for the advanced users also, we use every day. That F8, I was telling that, like, hey, if you want to know which step is doing what, you need to press F8. And while you are executing, if you press F8 line by line, what is happening in the beside, in the behind the story in the Excel, you don't see. To make it see, like make your window such a way that it will be visible Excel and this code as well. Okay, whether you arrange horizontal or vertical, it's up to you. If you have the 2 systems, one you keep it, that Excel one you keep it in the, let's say two desktop if you have it in one document. I mean one system you keep that Excel, another one you keep the what do you call that VBA, and execute line by line and you can see it. In general, in offices we have the 2 laptops, 2 systems, right? So you can do that way. Okay, but if you have only one laptop like this, you can follow this method, right? So let's see this. I want to see the output, right? I mean, line by line, what is happening? It's already output here. So I want to clear this formatting. Don't say clear all, clear the format so that that formatting will be removed. Okay. Now you see this. It is the Calibri, size is 11, no bold, no italic, no background color yellow, and so on. So while we are executing F8, while we are pressing F8, line by line, it will shows us Some lines are required lines are some lines are required lines. Some of them are not required lines. So we will identify and we will remove them. Is this clear? Offline guys expressions I can see whether they are understanding or not. How about online guys? By just reading your responses in the chat box, I'll get to know. Otherwise, unmute and speak. Are you guys following along with me or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Karthik.
Okay. Okay, great.
Karthik.
Developer ribbon, Visual Basic. This is the formatting macro. See this up to here only, right? Like it is going to do. So I can increase the size of this up to here so that I can see more space for the code. Getting it? Let me keep my cursor anywhere within this macro. If you keep your cursor here, it will execute this macro. No. And press F8 now. Once I press F8, even my cursor is somewhere here. Yeah. I press F8. By seeing that line of code, you read it and tell me what is the step it is going to do. Range of G1 to H6 dot select is saying nothing but at the time of recording what we have done, I selected G1 to H6, right? That's the code it is. So is this a required line of code or not? This is required. Then only once you select the range, then only you can modify something in it. Then only you can apply some formatting in this case. If I press F8 here, yes, it is selected the G1 to H6. Is that clear? Fine. So this is the required line of code. Whatever the required lines of code, I'll just write a comment just beside to it. How do you write a comment? Single quote followed by anything you write it. So I'll just write REQ. REQ means required. Otherwise, you write that whole story. Required line. This will select. This will select G1 to H6 cells like this. While you're learning this VBA, write that more comments, no problem. So that will be your notes. Okay, fine. So this line, I don't understand much with this. With selection dot font, something it's saying. As you're not understanding, not a problem. When I press F8, nothing happened with that line of code. Agree? With selection, nothing but with the selected range, font, dot name equal to bell empty, something it's saying. Hey, here what you need to understand here is dot name equal to bell empty saying, right? First of all, you need to understand that no code will start with the dot. No code will start with the dot. You see that is this line starting with a dot? In between there are some dots, but not started with a dot. But here it is started with a dot. What you need to understand is, hey, before the dot, there is something. What is the something is selection dot font. Selection dot font dot name equal to bell empty. That's how you need to read it. And this line is also, how do you need to read it? That common line is selection dot font, nothing but like it is a selection dot font dot size equal to 11. The next line is selection dot font dot strike through equal to false, and so on. Actually, in schooling, in the mathematics, there is something called common. We'll take it, right? Like 10 into 5 and 10 into 9. So that common is a 10. Otherwise, 2x or 4y. Something 2 you'll take a common something, right? So similar to it here, for many lines, common thing is a selection dot font. Instead of writing that selection dot font many times, to improve the code, to improve the reading one. So what macro recorder has done is selection dot font. It is taken as a common. Is that clear? So just for your better understanding, I'll show you this. That actual code is selection dot font dot name equal to something well empty. Getting it? Like another line is same selection dot font dot size equal to 11 and so on. Like once again selection dot font dot what is the strike through. like this we have. So in these 3 lines, what do you see the common? Selection dot font. So this can be written like this. You can write with what are the common things, you write it that selection dot font, then enter, enter. Whenever you start with you need to close with the end with. Okay. So after that, this is the dot name, right? Like here it is, and paste it here. And dot size equal to 11. Enter. I'm just giving the tab just for the better understanding. Here also it is followed the same thing. So whether you write this 3 lines or this 3 lines, I mean this width, using the width, both are same. But if you ask me which is better, the second one is better. Reason, like instead of processing this dot processing one, the VBA code, this will be more easier for VBA also to execute that line. Understood this? So, and just for your understanding, I written here. I do cut this. I'm just pasting here and make them as a comments. Any code should be between with and end with only, not outside like this. So I'll just make them as a comments. All of them are comments now. Fine. I have not modified anything till now. We are just executing line by line to understand whether it is a required line or not required line. Once again, let me execute line by line. But if I press F8, you see that G1 to F6, yes, it is selected. After selecting that line, like with selection, it's saying, so yes, that with also important. With the font name, actually font name is what? As of now, it is a by default, it is a Calibri. But no, I don't want Calibri, I want belly empty. So once I press F8, is it executed that belly empty or not? Font name got changed or not? Nothing but this line is required or not? This is required. I'll just write REQ. And like if I press F8, do you see any change here? Do you see any change? Actually, the size equal to 11. We want font size equal to 18, but it is still showing the 11 only. So fine, I don't know why it is not showing it, but if I scroll down, somewhere down it is showing the size equal to 18. Is that clear? So nothing but here, size equal to 11 is not required line of code. Is that clear? And then after the strike through superscript, what do you mean by strike through first of all? You'll write something, you don't want to delete it, but you want to strike out. So that's what the strike through. Have we touched while we are recording? Have we touched anything related to strike through? No. So why it is coming there? When you are talking about strike through, superscript means a to the power of n. That is a superscript. So subscript. There are so many superscript, subscript. There are many other things it's showing. Actually, these are the selection related different properties. But we want only few things, whichever required, only those things will keep it, all other things will remove it. So you see this is not required. I don't write not required and all. If you want, you can write down. I'm just leaving the superscript, subscript, and all this. I don't need it. Getting it? So only required place, I'll just write the REQ. Is that clear? So I'll keep press F8. There is no change in the code. There is no change. And once again, now here you see selection.font name equal to belly empty. This is already done. Once again, it is showing because actually first task we done for the font name change. Once we change the font name, it is showing the font size, like through superscript and so on. If you're talking about the one part, it is also talking about the other things. False. What are the default one? It is talking about it. Now this time the second task we done font size equal to 18. Yes, it is going to show the font size equal to 18. Only this line is required. This is already be done. We need not to tell once again. Right? So you can go here. If I press F8, till now it is not changed the font name to 18. Once I press F8 here, yes, it is changed the font name to font size to 18. So I can write REQ. Is that clear? Now again, these all are the lines are not required lines of code. From here onwards, I don't tell whether it is required or not. You identify. I'll just keep pressing F8. You stop me wherever it is a required line of code, so that I'll stop and I'll write the REQ. Is that clear? Let me press F8. Keep an eye here and also here. Press F8. Do I need to stop? F8. F8. Yes, that above line, right? That color wala place, it is changed something. Okay, what is this color? What is the change happened? Background color got changed. So I'll write it here. REQ. If you want to write, hey, background color to yellow. Something like this, you can write it for your understanding purpose. So fine. Again, tint shade, pattern, width, something. There is no changes happening with the executing those. Those are the default properties. Correct. Like again here, you stop me wherever it is required. Where it is? Yes. This color one again. Nothing but earlier one was the interior color. This time it is a font color. Okay. And write REQ required line font color to something red. Okay. Press F8. And now selection dot font dot bold equal to true. It's saying. What do you mean? What is this line going to do? Yes. When I press F8, yes, it is making as a bold. And the next line is, yeah, italic equal to true. Italic also, that style. Press F8 ends up end of the macro. Correct? So in this line, only required lines are, this is the required, this is the required. Only few of them are only required. There are many unnecessary lines of code. Instead of modifying, deleting that all that unnecessary lines of code, what I do is I'll take a copy because I want to keep a copy, the recorded one, just for your reference. In reality, I'll remove all unnecessary lines of code, but just for your reference, I'll keeping this. I'll copy, I'll paste it here. I'll call the same macro as a improved version or whatever the name you want to give. You give it. Okay. Now let me remove the steps. I mean, the comments, unnecessary comments, range G1 to H6. Is this a required line or not? Yes, it is required. So here it is required. Don't remove this width because this dot name, nothing but this is the dot name before I told you, right? The selection dot font will be there. When you have the width, you need to have the end width also, correct? So here it is a required line of code. Other than that, within this width, whatever that unnecessary lines, I'll delete all of them. Is this clear? Yeah. And in this, this is the required line of code. This is not required. I can remove this. And this is also not required. I hope you are following along with me, right? I mean, whichever we written REQ, only those things we kept. All other remaining one, we are removing it, correct? And here, this part also not required. This part also not required. Do I need to remove them? No, actually, it is required. I forget to write the REQ. Got it? Yeah. Now, can I further reduce these lines of code? How? Here is the selection dot font. Here is also selection dot font. Correct? Here is a dot name equal to belly empty and size equal to 18. So can I take this line of code and keep it instead of this? Yes or no? So I'll take a copy of this. I'll cut this, Control X, and I'll paste it here. Correct? Now, do you have anything in this width? There is nothing. What is the need of width? Getting it? So remove this. Now, how about this? Can I take this part and keep it here? Think and tell me, guys. Is that yes or no? Here is the selection dot font. Here is the selection dot interior. So that common thing is not the common. It is not the same. So that is the reason we cannot take this part and keep it here. Not possible. Getting it? Throw the error. So whereas what I can do is, hey, as it is a only the common line is only one line, instead of keeping the width, I'll remove the width. Getting it? If you remember, selection dot font dot name equal to belly empty, all these three lines we written this way. If you have the more than one line common, then you can use the width. If there is only one line, there is no need of width. If you want, you can keep it, but I don't need it. So what I do is I'll remove this end of it. I'll keep my cursor just before two dot. go to click on backspace, backspace and backspace. Nothing but just it is joining to this interior and remove this width. Does this make sense? And now yeah. And how about this? Can I take this one and keep it here or not? Yes, we can do, because here is a selection.font. Here is also selection.font. So take a copy of this, Control X, Control V, and select this part, remove this because there is nothing in between width and end width. How about these two lines? Can you help me out? Can I reduce further? Yes. What I can do? Selection.font dot bold equal to true. What it can be done? Dot bold. Yeah, this dot bold equal to true. This part, Control X and paste it, because selection.font already common, right? And here also cut this, Control X and keep it here. And this part you remove it. Getting it? Let's execute. If I execute this or this, it should give the same answer. Then only I can call it as this is the improved version of the previous one. Agree? So I'll go here. First of all, I'll remove and clear the formatting of it. Right? So once I execute this improved one, if I press F8, range of G1 to F6 selected same. If I press F8, yes, it is selected the range of G1 to F6 with the selection. With the selected range, nothing but what I selected, that is the selected range. With the selected range, name equal to well empty and size equal to 18. And the background color is text color is red. Background color, no, it is a text color. And bold equal to true and italic. And where is the background color? Here it is going. Actually, in the recording macro, the background color comes some third step. I think we are done. But as we are moving here and there, as it is a formatting, whether you are doing the step 1 first or step 3, you are moving to step 2, doesn't make any change, because these are the formatting related changes. Getting it? So when I press F8, yes, background color changes to yellow and ends up, yes, end of the macro. So is that clear, everyone? So after doing this, what I realized is, because that file size is, that column width is more, this numbers, this font size is more, that column width is not sufficient. It looks like all errors. I want to increase the column width. That is my another requirement. Let's say 7th requirement is auto fit column width. Agree? For this, actually, this 7th step we are not done at the time of recording. We don't know how to write this code, but already this up to 6 steps we have recorded, and we spend good time on to improve the code. Agree? But just for this requirement, once again, do all this recording the steps and remove that unnecessary steps. And this time we'll be adding this out of it also not required. What you can do is you can record once again with the only this step. Whatever step it is got recorded, that you do cheating, copy it and paste it in the existing code. These are the simple common sense. Some knowledge you need to have. This is how you need to do. Once you have that knowledge, you can apply this knowledge anywhere, any macros, right? So go to developer ribbon. I click on the record macro. What is the name it is? I'm going to delete this macro by, that's the reason. Let it be macro by, otherwise auto fit column width, something else, right? Click OK. What do? We select the G and H, because column G and H only column width needs to be auto fit. So just double click here, it will automatically auto fit. So stop the recording, click on the Visual Basic. In that Visual Basic, in the module 1, it is recorded a macro code here stating that column G to H select and column G to H entire column auto fit. See this here also. Actually, it is selecting the columns, then it is doing the auto fit. But after some experience, you'll get to know that, hey, there is no need of selecting the columns to make it auto fit. Normally, as an Excel user, to auto fit any column, first you select either one column or multiple columns, you select it, and then you will click on the auto fit. Correct? But with the VBA, I can even comment this line of code, selecting the code directly. You can say that columns of G to H, entire column auto fit. So now here you see, let me give a try whether it is working or not. I'll decrease the column width, I decrease the column width. Now once I come back to our code, this is the code. This line also, which is recorded, I commented. Now once I run this line of code, yes, it is auto fit the column. But it should, I don't want to execute two macros. This macro, this line of code, can I copy it and paste it in our that existing improved version of the macro code? Makes sense? Okay, let's give it a try now. We'll see that shortcut key also. You see this? I'll insert some button. I don't write any text. I'll just click on it. I mean, just assign first macro, assign a macro, assign which macro, formatting macro, improved version. Click OK. Now, once I click on it, yes, it is doing all this task, including the auto fit as well. Agree? Understood this? So, go here, clear formatting. Like, I think while we are recording this formatting macro, what was the shortcut key given? Control?
Control F.
Control F. Yes, Control F. Now you tell me. Normally, Control A is the what is the shortcut key? Select all. Control B, bold. C is for copy, that all of us know. Control E for drag down. Control E for flash fill. Control F is for the find. So, except two shortcuts, A to Z, all the shortcuts are inbuilt features are there. All right. So now question is, if I press Control F, is it going to execute the macro or is it going to show me the find and replace that dialog box? What do you think? Okay, we'll execute the macros. Okay. What do you think? Execute the macro. Okay. Fine. Online guess. No response. Is it going
Run
to
the macros.
Okay, run the macros? Okay, fine. Let's give it a try. Let me press Control F. Oh yeah, it is running the macro. But just imagine, I don't want to run the macro. I run it, done. But I want to get that find and replace button. The dialog box, it should come. So if I press Control F, how many times I'm pressing Control F? Every time it is running the macro. As it is running very quickly, you don't see the change. Actually, it is applying the formatting and everything. So this is a really problem. Correct? I want to overcome that issue. I want to give a shortcut to users so that they can run it easily, but at the same time, not at the cost of what do you call that, inbuilt shortcuts. I don't want to sacrifice. Getting it? It should work, and this macro shortcut also work. So in that case, go to developer ribbon. Macros, you know, right? Like list of macros, whatever we recorded, are we written all the list of macros it will shows. We are written some 7-8 macros here. All that macros it is showing. So we have given a shortcut key for the formatting macro. Select that macro and go to options. If you go to options, it is showing that hey, you given a shortcut key called Control F. So here, remember that to execute any macro with the shortcut key, Control is must. You cannot change that. But along with it, you also have the option called Control Shift F, Control Shift A. What is Control Shift F or Control Shift A or Control Shift B? There is no shortcuts. Inbuilt shortcuts are there is no, right. So you need to enable it. I mean, instead of Control F directly, we'll be using the Control Shift with F. For that, what you need to do is just enable the caps lock. Enable the caps lock and write whatever the letter you want to write. I'm not touching the shift button. Remember this. To assign it, I'm not touching the shift button. I'll just type the capital F. You see this? I just type the F, nothing but already caps lock is on. It is showing that capital F, and also you see that automatically shift is coming. I did not touch anywhere shift. Is that clear? Very simple. Don't make it complicated. Just write the uppercase alphabet. That's it. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So that it will automatically take the control shift, that alphabet, whatever you have given. Clear? Yeah. So click OK. This after clicking OK, here also there should be OK button. It looks like if I click on cancel, it is not applying that, but it will apply already because previous OK only it is applied the shortcut key cancel. Now you see this. If I press Control F, this find and replace dialog box is coming, and if I press Control F, Control Shift F, then macro is running. Understood? But is it column width? Why it is not showing the column with employee names? Why it is not showing completely? We are done that. Why it is not showing the column width? Autofit column width. Why it is not showing? We given that to improved version. Control Shift F. Whatever we change, that is the recorded macro one. Getting it? So that's the reason it's not working. Understood? Whereas if I click on this, it is done this all the formatting, all the 6 steps, and along with the autofit as well. Clear? Okay. We'll take some 10 minutes break. Then again we'll be back and we'll see something loops, if conditions, some interesting things we'll see. So after the break, it will be more interesting. So it will be a break of 10 minutes. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Okay, great. Let's get started now. Now, I'm going to show you how to refer the ranges. I'll go to sheet 2. See, what we are learning is not in a very systematical manner. I'm just trying to show you what can be done with the macros, how to learn it. I mean, one second online. So insert a module. Once I click on insert a module, it is inside the module, and as I told you, you can write some other set of macros here. See this? This time, instead of recording every time, I'll be writing my own code. So for example, I want to write A1 to B10, A1 to B10, I want to write something called excellence magic. You know how to write in the one cell. Range A1 value equal to, you people also done it, right? Why we are writing the dot, why there is a dot, what other things can be written, those things we'll learn in the class. But in this webinar, in the short period, we're trying to understand a couple of things. So I'll show you directly that one, like how to write, how to refer the range. I'm going to talk now. Like you see this range. If you want to write only one cell, you write simply range A1. That cell reference will write it in within the double quotes. Range will write after that within double quotes. Either you write A1 uppercase or lowercase A1, doesn't matter. It will be, it works like A1 dot value. This dot value is a property. What is the property? What is the objects, methods? We'll learn later. As of now, like high level, like dot value, A1 value, I want to write excellence magic. That's what I mean. Like that's what I'm trying to write it. So you see this, if I press F8, yes, it is executed and it is written. But not in one cell. A1 to B10 I want to write. In such case, how to refer? You see this range of A1 colon. This colon you are very much aware. If you are summing A1 to B10, you write equal to sum A1 to B10, you select, it will write automatically A1 colon B10. You don't write A1, A2, A3 and so on. No, right? So A1 colon B10 dot value equal to whatever you want to write. Let's say, see this? If I press F8, A1 value is excellent magic. If I write A1 to B10 value India's rate, it is overwrite the previous value. The A1 also you don't have excellent magic now because the next line is some other text. That's what it is written. And in all the cells, it is written the same value. Is that clear? For example, same code I'll take it. In the A1 to B10, I want to write, let's say, some number. If you're writing some number, you need not to write it in the double quotes. If you write it in double quotes also, not a matter for the number. For number, you can write it in double quotes or without double quotes also. But for text, if you're writing some text, that needs to be written in the double quotes. That is mandatory. So you see this, it is not saying A1 to B10 as a 1729. Why? Because after coming to this line, I have executed, I have written this, I have added it here. So now I want to go up to execute this third line. So you can scroll up, that you can drag it like this. Okay. So once I drag it, now I'll press F8. Now you see that A1 to B10 everywhere, that number. Is this clear? Ends up means end of the macro. So fine. Let's say I want to write some text in this cells. Let me make it something yellow color. Wherever you see the yellow color, in that places I want to write it. In all the cells, I want to write whatever I make it yellow color. In those cells, I want to write, let's say, Excel. I just want to write something about Excel. So let me show you here itself that example. Range of within double quotes. See here it is asking for the cell one, right? Within the cell one itself, all the cells details we can give with a comma separator. With a comma as a separate, give it A1 colon B10, that is the one range, comma. Don't double quotes here itself because this is not the end of the range. We are having multiple ranges. Just start of the range, you write the range. Start double quotes, then write the range, comma, you write another range, comma, another range. N number of ranges you give it. Once you end all of them, then double quotes. Bracket close, dot value equal to whatever you want to write it. That simple it is. Okay. A1 to B10. After that, what is another range? Like a G4 to J6. G4 to J6. Comma. M4 to M13. 2 means colon, right? M13. Comma. P5. Is that P5 colon P5? Only one cell, right? You can write P5. If any case if you write P5 to P5 also, not a problem. It works. But why it is, not required, but it's only one cell. Comma. Now you tell me. This entire column. R to R you can write R1 colon R10 lakh 48,576 also you can write. But I don't suggest that way. R to R is a better because the entire column, right? So because it is a XLSX or XLSM, the latest versions one, in the 10 lakh 48,576. If it is a XLS format, the number of rows are 65,536. So it works in your system, other person's system won't work. So it's better to write R to R so that it will take it whether it is a smaller range or 10 lakhs range, it will handle it. R colon R. No R and also yes. I would have written R colon yes. Getting it? R to yes it is. So but R to R is okay, comma. The last range is simple one. T4 to U6, U5. T4 to U5. Double quotes close here. Is that clear? Starting and ending. And bracket close dot value equal to, let's say, Excel. once I press F8, it is executing, and here it is written. Enter. Got it? Now just this is how you refer the range. Getting it? I'll show you another method. Method 2. Method 2 it is. Oh, sorry. Instead of range, you can also use this something called cells. Cells, if you are writing the cells, there should be row index number and column index number. You see this cells, it is asking the row index and column index, and they are showing in the square bracket. Square bracket means optional one. Just like in Excel formulas, if any argument showing in the square bracket, it is optional. Here also it is optional. Let's say we'll leave it bracket closed dot select. I'll write. If I write that select, and it is selecting what with cells? Entire cells, all the cells of the sheet it is selecting. No, not all the cells. I want to select the, let's say, B10 cell. B10. What do you write? If it is a B10 cell, I want to select it. What is the row index number you write? 10th row. Nothing but row number is 10. B10 means what? B is a column, 10 is a row. So 10th row, comma, column B. I mean, column index it's asking, right? Index means number, right? So that is the reason I'll write the 2. Bracket closed, dot select. If I press F8, now you see this, it has selected the B10 cell. Agree? Understood this? No, not select like I want to write the value. It's up to you. You write the value. Hello world. If I press F8, in the B10 only, it is written the hello world. Got it? Now, I want to select AB3 cell. AB3. If that is the case, cells of bracket start. Row index number is what? 3. Column index number. $28. After that, it is the AA, then AB. So for somehow you got the AB means that is a 28, but that is really tough to do it, right? If you ask me what is the ABC, there is a column called ABC1, cell reference called ABC1. Up to XFD columns we have, right? That is difficult to do it. So what you can do is, as it is AB, you can write it in the double quotes AB. Is that clear? This option is there. Use it. Double quotes close, bracket close, dot. Let's say I write the select. Nothing but that AB3 cell will get selected. Press F8 to see that we are in the AB3. Is this clear? Nothing but here also, instead of 2, I would have written the within double quotes B. Correct? So with the cells, I shown you that you can select all the cells, just write bracket start and close dot select. It will select whole sheet. If you want to write the comment on the sheets of on the cells. Correct. Whereas here it will select, it will write some hello world in the one cell. It will select only one cell called AB3. But if you want to select multiple cells, not all, just few of them. Let's say more than one. More than one, it is not possible using the cells. Using the cells more than one, not possible. Either you select all of them or any one of them, not multiple. For example, A1 to B10 you want to select. Earlier we written A1 to B10 like this, right? Range of A1 to B10. Like here, if you want to write it same A1 to B10, something you want to write under, you want to select it. Cells of bracket start. You see this row index number A1 to B10, right? Like what do you mean by A1 to B10? Like here you see that A1 means row number 1, comma column number 1, or column number A you write. There is no other arguments to write it. Getting it? So cells will select. Remember this cells using the cells. Either you can select or you can write the value by using it, either only one cell or all the cells. All the cells means you should not write anything, but not multiple cells, not possible. That multiple things possible with the range. Is that clear? Fine. If you want to add how to select all the yellow formatted cells in sheets with a single instance. Okay, fine. For this, we need to write the normally. Okay, Jagdish is asking this question. He wants to select all the cells which are in yellow in the sheet. In general, if this is your requirement, forget about the macro code. How do you do this? With your eyes, you're checking that, hey, is this yellow or not? Yes, it is yellow. As it is from here to here, all of them, like I selected. And here it is from here to here, I selected. Nothing but we are checking each cell. Each cell. If it is yellow color, then only we are giving a condition to our eyes, our brain, with the help of our eyes, stating that this is yellow. If it is, it says yes, our brain says yes, then we are selecting, and we are checking the other cell. If it is yes, then we are saying that select it, and so on. So some condition is involved here. Agree? There is a condition, and this condition needs to be checked for the multiple cells. So there is something called for next loop, for each loop, and like if conditions. Once you learn it, those kind of requirements can be done, Jagdish. As of now, I cannot show that, but that can be definitely done. So, fine. I'll insert another module here. In the third module, I'll be talking about how to insert the sheets. Normally, you know how to insert the sheet. There is a simple one, like you'll just simply click on the plus symbol, it will insert. It is not about inserting the 4 sheets, it is inserting the 400 sheets. Getting it? 400 times you need to click on it, so it will take time. After inserting those sheets, you don't know whether how many sheets you inserted. I mean, the sheet names, let's say you are changing it. Then you are not really sure how many sheets you are really inserted. Correct? So in that case, how that macro code is going to help us to write this code, to execute this one. Like, right? So anytime macro you're writing, you start with the sub, followed by macro name. Inserting 100 sheets or something, I'll use a name. Just saying, inserting the sheets. So here is the code, sheets.add, sheets.add. This is a simple line of code. You see this right now. Right now there are 4 sheets. Agree? My active sheet is the sheet 3. Agree? Active sheet means what are the sheet is in the active state. That's it. Right? So if I run this, see this carefully. Remember once again, my active sheet is the sheet 3. Once I press F8, it is added a new sheet called sheet 5 just before to my active sheet. If I run it once again, it will add a new sheet, some sheet 6 before to active sheet. Nothing but before to sheet 5 in this case. Is that clear? But normally, if you are adding, let's say sheet 6 here, if I click on the plus symbol, it will add a new sheet, sheet 7, before or after? It is after. Manual way, it is after. VBA way, it is before. I don't know why they make it like this, but that is a default functionality. But no, I want to add it, not one sheet. I want to add some 100 sheets. I don't want to run this code 100 times. Either I'm running the 100 times or clicking the plus symbol. It is the same for me. I don't want to do that. So no, this can be done with a line, one line itself. One line itself. Like what you need to do is sheets.add. Default, it is adding the only one sheet. But if you are able to tell that count of 100, it will add the 100 sheets. By default, if you don't tell anything, it is adding the one sheet. Getting it? So sheets dot add. Now it is showing the before, after, count, type, something. Correct? So what it means is, yeah, sheets dot add. Here see, there is something called before. Before means you want to add a sheet before to some particular sheet. You need to tell, and after. No, no, not before. After some particular sheet, that is also you can mention. I mean, these are the parameters we have. You can mention, but our requirement is that count should be 100. Where you are adding it, no problem to me. So correct. So I don't want to talk about this before. I don't want to talk about the after. I want to talk about the count. So what do you write as? You write count colon and equal to, whether you want to write the 10 or 100 or 1000, it's up to you. Getting? Let's say I'll make it 100. Now once I see this carefully, right now some 7 sheets are here. Once I click on this run button, sheets.add count of 100. That macro is running. Yeah, it is executed. See that 107 sheets are there. You can see all these sheets here. Got it? Insert new module. Here I'm going to talk about adding a new workbook. Okay. Otherwise, in the module 3 itself, I'll talk. Can you guess? Sheet.add is adding a new sheet. What could be the line of code to add a new workbook? Workbook dot add. Instead of workbook dot add, workbooks dot add. Here also sheets dot add. Correct? There also workbooks dot add. So give a try that like so what do you need to write? Workbooks dot add. There is some eraser kind of icon, green color is showing, right? That is nothing but method. So that methods are properties, objects, those things we need to learn, but we are not concentrating much on it. In some time, in few hours, we are trying to understand how that macro code look like. Is that easy or not? We are trying to understand this. So once I click on this run button, yes, it is added a new book called book 2. Getting it? Fine. Again, we are in the same workbook. In this workbook only, we are writing the code. The module 4. The module 4. I'll be talking about the loops. Before I talk about the loops, whatever you are aware about the loops, please tell me. Okay. Repeat the condition. Someone saying, yeah. How about others? Aditya, Anusha, Jagdish, what do you think? Satish, Swati, Shreya. What do you know about the loops? Until
The condition.
okay, fine. Okay. See, first of all, in my kids' language, I'll tell you. 2 days back, my kids were playing like my son was saying loop, and my daughter was keep dancing. Means actually she was doing some action, she was dancing, and suddenly he said loop. So what she is doing now is, what are the steps she was performing earlier, same steps she's keep on doing repetitively until her brother says stop or pause, whatever in their language. So if they say loop, what are the actions they are doing at the time? They need to keep on doing again and again until other person says stop or pause, whatever. Getting it? So here also in our VBA also, or any programming language you take, there are something called loops. Loops means you take Java, like C, C++, anywhere, everywhere you'll find the loops. So loop means performing some action repetitively. Performing some action repetitively. So you are saying like performing some action until some condition met, something you're saying, right? So there are condition based or without any condition. Let's say, hey, you do this 10 times. I'm just saying that 10 times. Like I'm not giving any condition. Just do the 10 times. That's the requirement I said. That's the command I'm giving. So that needs to be performed 10 times. Let's say you say hi 10 times. So we should say hi 10 times. Getting it? So instead of I ask you to do that hi or bye, like I want Excel to perform something 10 times. Same task needs to be performed 10 times. Are you getting it? So let's see this. There are 4 types of loops in VBA: for next loop, for each loop, do while, do until. So today we'll concentrate only on the one loop called for next loop. Once again, I'm telling loop means some action performing multiple times. Okay.
Sir, screen share.
Oh yeah, I'm about to share it. 1 minute. Yeah, I'm sharing, guys. I'm sharing my screen. Hope you are able to see it now. Yeah. So see this. You guys tell me how to write hello world using the message box. How do you write it? What is the line of code you write? Just you write the message box, MSG box, you space, and within double quotes that hello world, right? And if I press here, yes, it is showing that hello world. So it is, we executed done, but I want to show that hello world 10 times. I want to show that hello world 10 times. So you need to run this 10 times. Correct? Like no, I want to only one time only I click the button, but it needs to be executed 10 times. Getting it? Nothing but same message box, it should show me 10 times. So how to do that? I'll show you now. First of all, I'll show you the syntax of the for next loop. The syntax here is you take you write something, some word, system wizard word called for. After that, you write let's say my loop, some word you write it, some letter, it's up to you, whatever the name you write it, it's up to you, equal to 1 to 10, nothing but I'll write my minimum number to max number. And here also instead of my loop, you can give any name, right? That any name, please, I'll write it as a variable name. Variable name means you can give any name. And and here in between your repetitive code. Whatever you want to repeat, that code you need to write it in between them. Here we are saying that hey, for the variable name, some name you write it equal to minimum number to maximum number. Nothing but here you need to give some number and here you need to give the some number. Let's say 1 to 10 you can say. And like what are the code need to be repeated? That one you write it here. Nothing but in this case message box. And next variable name. So same variable, first time variable value will be 1, next time it will be 2, then 3, then 4, up to 10 times we will keep looping. Once it is done, then it will go to the next line. So I'll show you practically. Guys, you need not to have any coding language to learn this for next loop, but VBA code, entire thing, no need of any prior knowledge of the coding. So fine, you see this for, I'll take the name called, I'm just following the syntax for variable name. What is the variable name? I'll write that my loop equal to minimum number to maximum number. Let's say I want to execute 10 times some task. So I'll write 1 to 10. 1 to 10. And after that, next variable name. What is the variable? The variable name is a my loop, right? So same my loop, I'll write it here. Check out this. See this carefully, guys. This message box, you are pretty much aware. It will simply give us the hello world as a prompt to the user, correct? But this time something called for next loop we have written. So what is going to happen is if I press F8, this my loop is something variable. Variable means it is a container of value. Let's say this is a water bottle, it is a container of water. It will contain whatever you give it in it, correct? So similarly, variable will hold some numbers. In this case, it is holding some numbers. So at a time, it can hold only one value. For example, you have the 1 to 10 values, it cannot hold all 10 values at a time. It can hold only one value. So first time it will hold this my loop on hover of it is showing the only it is showing the empty, nothing it is showing. But once I press F8, my loop value it is showing as a 1 because I said that variable can hold at a time only one value. Yes, it is holding the value called 1. Let it be. With this, there is no changes happens with the message box. It will show the same hello world. Click OK. Next my loop. Next my loop means hey, already my loop value was 1. Next time value 2. Let's say if I'm asking you, a kid, can you tell me 1 to 10? First he will tell 1. What is the next value? 2. What is the next value? 3. So here also, next my loop, like my loop value already 1, next value of it is 2. Nothing but it will incremental by 1 value. So when I press F8, it is going back within this loop itself because that loop value is a 2. So now here it is going to show me as a hello world. And now next my loop. Already my loop value is a 2. Then when I press F8, it is going to show me that hello world third time and so on. So like this, it is keep repeating. I'm showing so many times. Like if I hover on it, it is 8th now. Next means 9. Here is the 9th time hello world it is showing. It is the 10th time it is showing the hello world. Now my loop is already 10. Already 10. Next my loop value will be after 10, 11. But what is the maximum number we given? 10. So that's where after keep looping 10 times, then it will go to next line. Getting it? So if I press F8 here, it is going to next line. Earlier, every time it was going inside. Why? Because that was within the range of 1 to 10. Within the range of 1 to 10. But once it is beyond this range, then it will exit the loop and go to the next line. Clear? Instead of showing the same hello world again and again, let's say I want to populate in the message box 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 10. If that is my requirement, how we are going to achieve this? Let me show you. I'll take a copy and paste it here for next loop. Second example, let's say, and here in the message box, I want to show 1, 2, 3, 4 like this up to 10. First time 1, message box it should show 1. Next time 2, third time 3, and so on. So can I write message box In the prompt place, what I can write? My loop itself. We can write something called my loop, because my loop value, first time it is holding the value called 1. The same value we are showing as a message box. You see this? If I press F8, it is showing the 1. Why? Because my loop value is a 1. Next time my loop value is a 2. So it will show the 2 and so on. If I press F5 now, it is showing the 3, 4 and so on up to 10. Is this clear? But showing this message box, okay. But this time I want to write that 1 to 10 in the cells. Make sense? Getting it? I mean, that could be a requirement. So how to write it, I'll show you now. First of all, before I write this, you guys tell me, without using any loop. Let's say you're not aware about the loops and you want to write 1 to 10 in the cells. How do you write it? Using the code. So writing 1 to 10 without loop. Something else, eh? Yeah. Do you know how to write Excel is magic in the A1 cell? How do you write the code? What is the line of code? Range of instead of cells, we use many times the range of A1 value equal to Excel is magic. That is the one cell. But this time, not Excel is magic in the A1 to A10. It is a 1, 2, 3 different values. Getting it? Range A1 value equal to 1. Range A2 value equal to 2. If it is a A1 to A10 is the same value, we would have finished this requirement with the one line only. But as it is a different values, we need to write the multiple lines we need to write. Correct? So how do you write it? Range of A1 dot value equal to 1. Agree? Range of A2 dot value equal to 2. Range of A3 dot value equal to 3. Range of A4 dot value equal to 4. Like this, I need to type 10 times. So this is a really, if it is a 10, I can manage. But if it is a 100, if it is a 1 lakh, can you imagine 1 lakh lines? We cannot write it, right? If you observe something like I've done that copy paste, I'm just modifying only few places that hey, it is not a 9, it is a 10. Other than that, everything left side is the same, correct? And right side part is a 1, 2, 3, 4. Then it is a 5. Then it is a 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So like this 10 lines of code I need to write. Then it will be populate A1 value is the 1, A2 value is the 2, 3, 4, and so on. 1 to 10 you written. Great. Now I'm asking that can you write 1000? 1000 lines required in this method. Agree? So this is not an efficient code. We need to make it efficient. So if you observe something, what is the first line we written? Second line also everything same except the change in this number. This number earlier it was a 1, it is changed to 2. And here also change like 1 got changed to 2. Next it is incremental by 1. Again incremental by 1. Other than that, everything is the line of code is the same. Agree? We already know how to populate 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. So instead of populating, this time we want to get that 1 here. Here is a 2, then 3, then 4 and so on. Correct? So I'll take a copy of this entire code. So guys, we said up to 12, it is getting extend. Please don't mind. I was not seeing time also. It's quite bad. We'll finish it more max 15 minutes. Writing 1 to 10 without loop. Earlier one was without loop. Now this time with loop. Getting it? So I'll keep only one line of code. Remove all of them. This first line only we need to repeat so many times. So I'll write for next loop. For you need to write some loop name. Let's say I'll take the loop name as a my loop, or you take X or Y, anything you take it, equal to minimum number to maximum number 1 to 10 and right? And next my loop. Is this clear? So here in this place, can you guess what is going to happen? What is going to happen if I run this line of code? A1 value, it will write the 1. Next time also, A1 value only 1 only it will write. It won't write the 2. See this? A1 value equal to 1 we are writing. When I press F8, it is writing the 1. Okay. When I'm writing like when I'm running this, my loop value changes to 2. But here nowhere changing happened, right? A1 value, that is the static values. There is no changes happening. If I press F8, again it will write the 1 only. Again it is writing the 1. Multiple times it is writing the same 1. But no, please instead of 1, it needs to change it to 2, 3, and so on, right? So this my loop is first time it is containing the 1, next time 2, then 3. So this value place and write the my loop. Let's see this time what happens. I'll press F8. You see this value will remove. I press F8 here. My loop value first time value is a 1. Agree? Nothing. My loop is some variable. So A1 value, what is the value it is going to write? My loop. My loop means what? 1. Correct? 1 it is where it is going to write in the A1 cell. So values will pass from right to left. That my loop value is the 1. That 1 is passing to this A1 cell. If I press F8, yes, it is written the 1. Super. If I press F8, my loop value already 1. Next value means 2. When I press F8, yes, it is a 2. So my loop is a 2 now. Where it is going to write the 2? Same A1 itself. In the A1 itself, it is going to write the 2. If I press F8, yes, it is writing the 2. And it is writing the 3, then 4, then 5, and so on. You see that by the end of them, like it is showing the 10. You see this once again. I'll delete this value. If I execute quickly, and nothing but by pressing F5, if I click on it, it looks like it is written the only 10. But it is very fast, it is written the 1 to 10. Agree? But no, my requirement is writing the 1 to 10 in a sequence. Getting it? So in that case, what do you need to do? Apart from the writing the values, I mean 1, 2, 3, 4, that cell reference, that left side is the cell reference. It should not be always A1 cell reference, it should be A2, it should be A3, A4, and so on. So for that case, what you need to do is little advanced one, like A is a common, I written the column A only we want to write, that is I written the double quotes. That variable name concatenate, that variable name you write it outside my loop. Why I should not write that my loop within the double quotes? Because but that variable name we never write it within the double quotes. If you write something within the double quotes, it will consider as a text. So here just that like I'm joining this column A along with the variable called this my loop. My loop value first time 1. So A1 equal to what? 1. Next time my value will be 2. Nothing but A2 cell. It is going to write it as a value called 2 and so on. So see this now. Deleting like this not required. Actually, it will overwrite. Just for your reference, I'm deleting and showing it. So I'll press F8 here, 1 to 10. Here you see this equal to A, my loop value means 1. Nothing but A1 it is referring to. It is left side code, it is showing that it is referring to A1, and the right side is a value 1. That 1 is passing from right to left. So if I press F8, my loop value 2, you see the 2, where it is going to write in the A2 cell. A2 value is going to write it as a 2. If I press F8, yes, it is a 2. Then 3, then 4, and press F5, done. I want to show message that task completed. Where do you write that task completed code? After the loop or within the loop? After the loop. If you write anything within the loop, that task will be repeated n number of times. In this case, this one line we have, that one line is repeating 10 times. If you have some another line also, that line also will be executed 10 times. Another line, third line, if you have, again only will be writing in the loop. Otherwise, we don't write it within the loop. But as I just need to show some message task completed. I'll write outside. If I press F5 now, it is written task completed. Instead of 1 to 10, let's say I'll write 10,000. See this, how fast it will do it. If I need to type it one by one, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's what actually VBA also doing, right? But as it is a code, once you click on the run, real quick it will do and saying that task completed. 1 to 10,000. Got it? That's the reason. That's the power of the code. If you do it manually, it will take time. If you are a hard worker, today is like the Labor Day. So if you want to do that hard work, you still, continue that hard work. But if you want to do the smart work, learn this. So you might be thinking, what is the use of this populating 1 to 10 or 1 to 10,000? So just to make you understand that for next loop, I given a small example. But whereas like similar, I was showing the demo, right? Like consolidation of the different sheets into one place. There we use the same concept called for next loop. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay. Any questions? Online guys, any questions?
No, Karthik.
No, sir.
That is from my end. Let me give one feedback link. Please provide your valuable feedback in this link. Only one link. Just take your 2 minutes of time. We spent 3 hours. So you take 2 to 3 minutes of your time and write the review in it. Probably now. I think tomorrow never comes with the experience I'm telling. So yeah, take your 5 minutes of your time. It won't take 5 minutes also. Just take few minutes and just click on the link, and whatever you felt about this webinar, you feel free to write it. By seeing it, like other people will join or not to join, they'll take a call. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And
Karthik, this link
that
is
we are going to start from the 1 minute, Amrita. Like we are going to start this VBAMacros batch from the coming Saturday. It will be weekend batch, Saturday, Sunday. Actually, today's session very like different topics I was talking, but like in the batch, we'll very systematically we'll be discussing many topics. So from very basic level, we'll be starting and we'll be getting into advanced level. So like it will be 4 weekends batch, 4 weekends, like 4 Saturdays, 4 Sundays. We say 4 weekends, but there are high chances to 5 to 6 weekends. Yeah. So you can assume like 6 weekends only you plan, like you plan your schedule if you are planning to join the session. So from May 7th onwards, it is going to start. And people who registered today and tomorrow, for them we are giving the 500 discount. Actually, the fees is the 6,000, and we are giving it the 5,500 people who registered either today or tomorrow. So how to register? Just give a call to this number and message it in the chat box. Institute number, that whatever the meeting ID, the same number. You can even WhatsApp her also. This is the number. Or if any case, as it is, if any case it is not answering the call, you can email also. info@DataSkills.in. Yeah, Amrita, sorry, like go ahead now.
no issues. Actually, this link which you have sent, it's leading us to a Google page, and which option to select from there, like for the review?